Recording, we're recording. Here we go. Well, hello folks, and welcome to my shed. My name's Ian. Finally, I've got round to doing the first video of my trip to Ripon, the city of Ripon. Although when you look at the video, you'll notice it's only a tiny, it's only a town. But way back in about 600 AD, something like that, King Ethelstan, or something like that, I think King Alfred's son, he came up to fight the Vikings in York, and he liked what the town did, and he gave them a royal charter, which made that a city. If you want to Google it, Ripon, R-I-P-O-N, is famous for a golden horn, and the story goes that the king, when he gave them the royal charter, he didn't have anything to seal it with, but he had a gold-tipped hunting horn. So he gave this to the town. And he also said that what you really needed to do, you needed to set a watchman every night. And they did. They appointed someone, and it was his job at 9 PM every evening to go to the four corners of the square and blow the horn. People to go to bed knowing that the place was being watched against for raiders. And apparently, it still happens to this day, and it hasn't missed a day for 1,100 years. Anyway, let's get on with this tale. Whiskey and the One-Eyed Rat. Well, there's the whiskey, and I've been showing it for a short while on a couple of vids. Alet Behen, and I'm pronouncing that totally wrong, because if I go to the website, it's pronounced Alt Irvine. Well, nothing like my pronunciation. Well, what do you expect? I'm a northern lad, and they're way up north. They're Scotland. Let me put Raphael back on. That's Raphael's Scrapper. Saturday night, he's doing his channel. Gets him his hours in. Okay, let's set the scene then. I've gone up to Ripon to surprise my son, who's in the army up there, and they're doing a march and they're doing a presentation in the town centre. That's all gone. That happened hours ago, and it's around about 4:30 PM in the afternoon. And that left me on my own, and I decided I'd seen a whiskey shop. So I went into this whiskey shop, and we had a mosey round, and this is a little clip of that. There's lots of names here I've never heard of. I'll have to take a bottle home, definitely great. Homebrew kit, that should interest drunk in one. Over there for Captain Jerk. Oh, very nice. Awesome stuff, Greg, awesome stuff. 1973 Japanese. That's only £70. That's quite reasonable, isn't it? And there were some very, very nice whiskies in that shop, and some I'd never even heard the name of. And as you saw in that clip, there was that old Japanese whiskey. There's also some nice beers. And here's, if you watch anybody have heard of Game of Thrones, I don't know, some of you have, then there was this range of beers. The guy in the shop was a very, very nice guy, very knowledgeable. So I was perusing the beers, the imports, etc. And he said, "Do you like your beers?" I think he could tell. So I said, "Yeah, you know." And he said, "Well, we have a very nice Camera pub. Camera campaign for real ale. They serve real ale." He said, "It's called the One-Eyed Rat. End of the street, turn right, walk down a bit." So it was actually on my way back to the hotel, so I couldn't resist. I had to go. On the way down, I passed a cut down Volkswagen van. I had to take a shot of that for VW Nut. And just for VW Nut, not Musty One, here we have a chopped down VW. Right the way before I get run over. Chopped down VW. And I found the One-Eyed Rat pub. There's a guy stood outside. And the thing about real ale people, they're very, very friendly people, and they will talk, and they like nothing better than talking about beer to each other. So I've got this gentleman outside, and in the best vernacular, I say, "Tory lad, I started Jill in there, what can't recommend?" Or to translate, it was, "Hello sir, have you taken a beverage in this establishment? Is there one you would particularly recommend?" So the guy turns around, looks at me and says, "Hey," says, "how nice what talk to a local." And I'm like, "I've drove 100 miles to get here. What do you mean, a local? I'm from Lancashire. I can't sound like a Yorkshireman." Okay. I said, "I'm from Lancashire, mate." He says, "Yeah, I know." He says, "You're a bit Goulburn, aren't you, really?" He says, "I'm from Haydock. So that's about a couple of miles away from me." So the thing is about accents and dialects in the UK, they can change from town to town. And if you've got a pretty good ear, you can easily tell the locality from whence someone comes from. Anyway, that's by the by. I get the tail off him. Used to be a soldier, lived down in St Helens, moved up to Haydock. We had a little chat. Didn't recommend any beers for me though. And that is where I'm going to leave you until afterwards, and then we'll sample this whiskey. Well, this is quite a picturesque little street. What I'm after, I believe, is down there. I can't quite read the sign from here. I'll come back when I'm further down. It is indeed the place I'm after. It's called the One-Eyed Rat, and it's what we call a Camera real ale pub. So I think I'll nip in here for one. So I settled on the dark ruby. Right.
A man and a woman walking.
Quite quintessential English pub. So cheers. It's very nice. So I bought this rich ruby ale. It's 6.2%, so quite strong. I just bought some beers, which you'll see in another video, mainly some German beers. I want to impress Guido Wandelt over those. The guy noticed I had some bottles, 3 I bought, and he said, that's an odd number, and gave me a bottle of beer, which was can't see that so well. It's called Thai IPA, Three Brothers IPA. So we'll try that later. I'm going to carry on drinking that. That went down really nice, so I thought I'd have another. But I'm in a real ale pub, so way too much choice. So you know what I did? I did the taster. So you get 3/3 of a pint. Oh yeah. So they're normally served in a wooden bowl with 3 holes in, so you can just drop them in and carry them. But as I'm only a short way from the bar, really no need to. We've got Salter Unity. We've got Timothy Taylor. And then we've got the Falconer. Well, I'm going to taste these. I ain't going to do it on camera. I just have to take my word for it that they're good. Well, I hope you enjoyed my afternoon in the pub. That last photograph you saw, well, that was actually in the evening. We liked that pub that much. My son met us in town later that night, and we went down to the One-Eyed Rat again, and he came down with a few of his mates, so a few of his soldier buddies, and it was interesting, should I say, that if you ever get a bunch of soldiers, squaddies, sit down drinking and talking together, there's a lot of interesting stories come out. The wife's eyebrows was raising at some of the tales they were telling to each other. Right, let's get down to this. For this, I'm not actually going to use any ice or my whiskey stones. I'm just using this proper little snifter glass that I got given. Okay, Alt Vein. Not like what it says on there. It's from a distillery that produces, according to the website, produces whiskies for blending and generally for Chivas Regal. I do like a Chivas Regal. That's a Gerber knife. This is where I'm going to stab myself or hurt myself. Not a good idea. Away from you. That's better. I'll not pop the cork yet. Just read what it says. Tasting notes: a smoky malt with a prickle of white pepper, blend with toffee apples, buttery pastry, a hint of heather and toasted oak. That's on the nose. On the palate, butterscotch, roasted apricot, honey, provides sweetness among a gingerbread and cinnamon spice. Earthy peat. Well, that's the reason. I'm a smoky guy. I like peat. Finish: a long finish with plenty of drying smoke and fizzing spice. Well, that's the tasting notes. It's a Speyside, not known for peat. And that's the whole thing about this. It says on the bottle, back in the 70s they said you shouldn't mix peat with Speyside. That smokiness and sweetness just couldn't work. But they say they thought they could, and they did. And if you're looking at some of this, if you go looking at the whiskey malt site, there's some bottles here which are 25-year-old, so they've been doing it for a good while. It says on here, just enough peat to start a fire. Enough said. Let's give it the nose. We like this sound, don't we? Oh yes. Oh yeah. I can smell the fire. I can smell the peat. I say my favourite is Talisker whiskey, which is a lot more smokier than this. But Definitely a nice oaky smell. Yeah, nice tea colour. A generous measure. In fact, a little bit too generous of a measure. It's got a nice oily meniscus on it. I usually only see that on something like 46%. This is 40%. Here goes. Oh, I like that. There, yeah, that whiskey breath. If you drink whiskey, you know what I'm talking about. That's warming all the way down, that is. You can see that gingerbread taste, cinnamon, spice. They're not far wrong. Well, they should be. They're experts, aren't they? I'm not. I'm just a whiskey drinker. Well, yesterday I received a parcel, and last night on my live stream I opened it. It came from Snobby Scrap Picker. There, said it right. To Sir Ian Matthews. Well, we did this last night. Birthday wrapping paper. As you guys know, my birthday was in January. It's 1st of June today. And it was well wrapped. And inside that was a bottle of Theakston's Old Peculiar. I like Theakston's, but I think Cruiser Mac, I think we'll save that for another video. Maybe I also got a parcel today. I don't know what this means. That one was to Sir Ian Matthews. This one's addressed to the one and only Ian Matthews. Did well. No address. He just put a sticker on it and it got here. Right. Enough said of that. The next video, I'll do the army side of the weekend, maybe followed up by the town itself. Right, I'll see you in those vids. Good night.